I started meditating, I was filled with anxieties, filled with fears, kind of a depression and anger. And I took this anger out on my first wife, and after 2 weeks of meditation, she comes to me and she says, "What's going on?" And I was quiet for a moment because it could have been any number of things she might have been referring to. But I finally said, "What do you mean?" And she said, "This anger, where did it go?" And I didn't even realize it had lifted. Now, these negative things like anger and depression and sorrow, they're beautiful things in a story, but they're like a poison to the filmmaker. They're a poison to the painter. They're poison to creativity. They're like a vice grip. If you are super depressed, you can't hardly get out of bed, let alone think ideas, have that creativity flowing. So it's money in the bank to get that beautiful consciousness growing, which is flowing creativity, the ability to catch ideas at a deeper level. Intuition grows. This field is a field of pure knowingness. You dive in there, you sort of just know how to go. You know how to solve solutions. It's like an ocean of solutions. And you can just feel this thing growing. But the ultimate thing for me is the enjoyment of the doing, the enjoyment of life grows huge. I love making films now more than ever before.
TM is like you have a cell phone and someone gives you the charger. And you go, "Oh, this is, now I can keep using this thing and it will work all the time." So the other way I'll describe it to you is, and I can see from the faces who does it and who doesn't do it, by the way. The other way I will describe TM to you is, do you know how 3 days a year you get a good night's sleep? And you wake up and feel like, oh, this is how I should feel all the time. But you can't get more than 3 good night's sleeps a year because of the circumstances of your life. Well, TM, you can have that every day. That every day you're just, the bar on the cell phone is all the way up. You leave the house and the charger is full. You know that tremendous feeling of power when your phone is fully charged? And somebody calls and you go, "I want to hear every detail of this story. I am loaded with juice." That's what TM is. Anything you want to ask me about TM? I do it, and here's the other thing that's crazy, okay? Here's a crazy TM thing. Well, look, I'm only getting 5 hours sleep as it is. I'm not going to get up earlier than that to do TM. It works. It's better. You'll feel better sleeping 4.5 hours and doing that 20, because that's deeper than anything you're getting. When you're sleeping, look at your bed when you get out of it. What does it look like? It looks like a war went on in there. And that's not restful. All you did was stop. And you took the fight from your day into the bed. But you're fighting all day, you're fighting all night. You need a break, folks. You need a break. That's what TM is.
I am elated and truly, truly, truly excited to be present and fully connected to you at this important moment in your journey. I want to thank the trustees, the administrators, the faculty of MUM for creating an institution worthy of Maharishi's ideals of education, as well as enabling the students through Transcendental Meditation and ancient Vedic knowledge to slack off twice a day for an hour and a half.
What are you doing here in New York, and what are your thoughts on the now?
The idea of what you're doing, of putting this into schools, I think is a fabulous thing, because I think it's all very well to talk about it, but the thing is, when you actually put it in the mainstream, I think that's very important. I think that's the foot in the door. because then people can then say, in Detroit, where the David Lynch Foundation has put the program into schools, the results are these. And I think this is what people need. They don't need high-minded talk so much as results. And so for you to be able to say the kids love it, the kids in the West Bank love it, the kids in Brazil love it, and you're actually getting results. To me, it's like a seed that it's for sure if you take a great seed, an acorn, and you don't put it in the ground, it's pretty guaranteed you won't get an oak tree. But if you put it in the ground, there's a very good chance you'll get an oak tree. And I think that seems to me what you're doing. So that's what I love about what we're involved in now. And so that's why I was so happy to do the concert. It's very inspiring.
What would you do if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? Lend me your ears and I'll sing you a song, and I'll try not to sing out of key. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. Oh, I get high with a little help from my friends.
Over 40 years ago, we ended up in Rishikesh, and that's where we met. Well, it wasn't where we met, it's where we hung out with Maharishi. We'd met him a few months before in Wales. And since then, sometimes a lot and sometimes a little, I have meditated. And, you know, it's a gift he gave me, was my mantra, that's something I could use and something no one could take away. So it's one of the few things I was ever given that means that much to me.
I brought the Transcendental Meditations into Harpo Studios to teach me and my team how to meditate. So we started meditating. 7 of us, 7 led to 70, led to 270, led to now everybody in the company meditates. 9 o'clock in the morning, 4:30 in the afternoon, no matter what's going on, we stop, we meditate. And that way of being still with ourselves, coming back to the center, and recognizing that something is more important than you, it's more important than the work you're doing, it's more important, brings a kind of energy and an intensity of energy and intention that we've never had before. And you can't imagine what's happened in the company. People who used to have migraines don't, people are sleeping better, people have better relationships, people interact with other people better. It's been fantastic. So the one thing I want to continue to do is to center myself every day and make that a practice for myself, because I am 1,000% better when I do that. 1,000% better when I take myself back to something bigger than myself.
Anyway, so I learned how to meditate. I've tried to meditate before, the breathing and all the other stuff that when I did yoga, and I was always opening my eye, and it was like a minute later, and I was like, oh, how am I going to do this? This is just impossible, focusing on the breathing. And so when I learned about TM, which I'd heard about it, and I'd heard so many people, I was very impressed by the people that I learned that they did TM, and I was like, well, they're interesting people, and there must be something to it, and I thought I'll try this, even though I'm not good at meditating. And something about TM, something about having that mantra, it is the only time I have that stillness. It's the only way I've ever been able to sit long enough that I open my eyes and I'm sad that it's 20 minutes later. I actually love, and I never had that feeling before, late at night alone at an ATM machine, but that was not safe. But it does. It gives me this peaceful feeling, and I just love it so much, and I talk about it as much as I can on the show without sounding like I'm preaching about it. But I am here really I can't say enough good things about it. It just really is a beautiful experience.